Good morning, children. I hope you all are fine and good. Today we are going to see migration and urbanization in geography. Do you all know what is meant by migration? Can you guess it? Okay. So, migration is nothing but moving from one place to another in order to live or work. So, we people also migrated from some other state or some other place, some other city also, right? Our native will be different, but we have come here, our parents would have come here for work or for studies or some other sake, right? So this is known as migration. And urbanization is nothing but making the making the city more modern, many advancement, development. Urbanization means city, making it a city. Okay, so this is what we are going to see in this chapter, migration and urbanization. So we'll see what are the factors of migration, why it happens, types of migration, and consequences of migration and urbanization. What is that, and what is the cause of urbanization, and what are the problems of urbanization? Everything will be discussed in this chapter. So one more time I will read that migration definition. Migration is a way to move from one place to another in order to live and work. So in order to lead our life, many people are migrating. They are traveling from one place to another, moving from one place to another. Factors of migration. There are a number of factors which are responsible for the migration of human population. So number of reasons we have to migrate from one place to another place. The favorable factors which attract people towards a location called pull factors. So the favorable, why we are moving from one place to another place? Our native is one place, but why we are moving from that place to another place? So some favorable from new things, some good things will attract people. That is why they are moving. Okay, this place is better than our place. So in that cause only they are moving. We'll see, that is called pull factors. The unfavorable factors which make the people to move out from a location are called push factors. So our place which we reside, which we live, does not be that much comfortable. It might be lacking in something. So that is why we are pushed to move out from our native place. So maybe our salary would be low. We could not have proper education, higher education will not be that much there. So some reasons will be there to move out of the place. You people are very small, so you don't know what happened, but your parents have moved for some cause, right? So we'll see what are the causes for that. Okay, the first one is ecological or natural causes of migration. So what might be the natural cause of migration? The causes operate under this category or natural ones. So naturally something is happened. So we'll see what is that. They include volcanic eruption, earthquake, flood, drought, etc. These events force the people to leave their native places and settle in the new areas. So in some places, but it is not in our country. In India also we don't have that much volcanic eruption and all. But in some other countries and all, in many areas volcanoes will erupt often. So there the people cannot live their life peacefully. So what they will do, they just move out from the places. So volcanic or earthquake. When earthquake means they would have lost all their things. So to get all the things back, they'll come to some other country to earn money, right? Flood, drought means a food shortage. Okay, there will be no rain for them, so farmers and all, they can't cultivate anything, so no money, no food. So for that reason they move from their native places to another place to settle in the new areas. Next one is economic cause of migration. The availability of fertile agricultural land, employment opportunities, development of technology, etc. are some of the economic causes that attract the migration. So the availability of fertile agricultural land. So in some places they would not have that much water facilities and all. So if the farmers have seen, okay, here if we do the agriculture means it will not be that much benefit for us. So he will move to some other place which is very fertile. Like if the land is very fertile, he used to think, no, okay, if we do the cultivation here, we can earn more money, we can we can earn more yield and all. Next one is employment opportunities. Many youngsters know they study many degrees, they'll get many degrees, but whatever they get, they couldn't get that much earning, that much money, salary. So okay, if we go to some other country, modernized area means we can earn more money, we can settle in life. So that is why they are moving from one place to another. And development of technology. In some areas and all, no, there will be not essential enough of hospitals, okay, schools, nothing. So they have to travel for a very long distance. So after seeing, okay, if we go to the city means we get everything within few kilometers itself. So we'll move from that place. So these are the economic causes of migration. Next is socio-cultural causes of migration. Migration of women after marriage and migration associated with pilgrimage are based on the socio-cultural customs. So women automatically, when they get married to someone, they have to move from their native place, right? And some pilgrimage, okay, those who are very much dedicated, devoted to the godly things and all, no, they will also use to, okay, for some sake, for pilgrimage, okay, for holy things and all, they'll move from one place to another. That is called socio-cultural customs. Demographic causes of migration. It is well known fact that adults are more migratory than any other age groups. Women mostly migrate after their marriage. Generally, overpopulation is considered as a push factor and underpopulation is to be pull factor in the context of migration. So mostly adult young people only move from the another place for higher education, to earn more money, to settle in life. See, in our country also many people used to go for foreign countries, abroad, right, to earn more money, to settle in life, to make their family settled. So these are the demographic causes of migration. Next one is political causes of migration. Various political causes like colonization, war, government policies have been playing important role in human migration from time to time. So political causes. So in many countries war would be happening often. People can't lead a peaceful life. Their life is not in a secured manner. Okay, see in Sri Lanka also, many people from Sri Lanka, many people have moved to our country because they'll occur in that place war will be occurring. So to protect themselves, to protect their livelihood, they started to moving from that countries, right? So these are the causes for the migration. Okay, now we'll see about the types of migration. Migration can be classified in several ways. It is usually characterized as follows. So we'll see the types of migration. It is classified into many ways based on the movement associated with administrative limits. First one is internal migration. The movement of people within a country is known as internal migration. So within a country, from one state to another state. So it is called internal migration. See, many people from Toothukudi, Tirunelveli, Nagarkoil, some other states, some other districts also, they'll move from one state to one district to another district, right? So this is called internal migration. Internal migration is classified into 4 categories on the basis of the place of origin and destination of migrants. So it is internal migration is classified into 4 types. First one is rural to urban migration. It is a movement of population from rural areas to growing towns and cities, mainly in search of employment, education and recreation facilities. So from rural, from village to city areas. So in order to develop their employment, okay, to get good jobs, education. So these are the reasons. Urban to urban migration, so from one city to another city, from Chennai to Bangalore, Bangalore to Calcutta, Mumbai to Chennai. So these are the places from urban to urban, from city to city migration is happening. It is a migration between one urban center to other, like in search of higher income. So if a person is working in Chennai for 25,000 means for the same job, if you would get 40,000 in some other state means, some other city means, he'll prefer that city, right? If he wants to earn more money means he'll prefer that particular city. That is also a developed city, right? So that is called urban to urban migration. Rural to rural migration, from one village to another village. It is driven by fertile land for cultivation and other sociological factors like marriage. So, for fertile land, when the land is not good in their native land, they'll go for some other land, they'll go in search of some other fertile land for cultivation. And also, as we saw earlier, it is for marriage purpose also. When a girl gets married, automatically she has to move from that native place. Urban to rural migration, so from city to rural village migration. So we'll see what is the reason. It is a movement from urban centers to rural areas to get rid of the urban problems and returning to the native places after retirement from jobs. Rural to urban migration is the most common one. So after settling everything, if many parents know, after retirement they would have settled in life, they would have given their sons, daughters and all to marriage, they make everyone settled in life, and they have to spend their last days in their own native place. So for that sake, they'll move from the city life to village life where they started their life. So that is called urban to rural migration. International migration, migration that occurs across the national boundaries are known as international migration. So across the national boundaries, that is called international migration. This is the second one. First one we have seen internal migration from one state to another state within a country. International migration means from one country to another country. So based on the willingness of the migrants of migration, so based on the willingness they desire. Voluntary migration, so wantedly they'll migrate from one place to another. If the migration take place on person's will, initiative and desire to live in a better place and improve their financial status, the migration is said to be voluntary. Wantedly, if you want to improve his lifestyle, if you want to earn more money, voluntarily he'll come to some other place. That is called voluntary migration. Involuntary or forced migration, so something is forcing us to move from this place. If the migration take place against the will of migrants, the migration is termed as involuntary. So the person is not willing to move from his native place, but something is pushing him. Okay, that is called involuntary or forced migration. Based on the duration of stay of migrants in the place of destination. So this is a third point. So duration, for how long they are staying. First one is short term migration. In this kind of migration, the migrations stay outside only for short duration before returning to the place of origin. The duration may be few days or few months. So these are called short term, for few days, a few months, for some particular purpose they would have come here. That is called short term. Long term migration, it is a kind of migration which migrants stay outside at least for few years. See, some people know they would have got some loan, bulk amount of loan, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs. So if they stay in their own place, means they can't pay it. So they'll come at least for 2-3 years, contract wise they come to some other country and they'll yield the money and they'll settle it. So for some better purpose, for some reason they'll come. That is called long term migration. Seasonal migration. In this type of migration, usually a group of people migrates from the native place during a particular season and return after the end of that season. So during one particular season, a group of people will move from that native place, and after their purpose gets over, they'll move again to their native place. So this is called seasonal migration. Okay, now we'll see about urbanization. Urbanization refers to the process in which there is an increase in the proportion of population living in towns and cities. So increase in population living, okay, in towns and cities. It is almost like development, urbanization. Okay. Causes for urbanization: natural population growth, rural to urban migration, and the reclassification of rural areas into urban areas. Present day urbanization includes changes in demographics, land cover, economic processes, and characteristics of geographic area. So these are the reasons: land, economic process. So population, when many people arrive at the same place they settle in the same place, that area would get developed. So these are the causes for the population urbanization. Okay, we'll see about the consequences of urbanization, housing and slums. There is a lack of space for housing and a marked reduction in the quality of housing in the urban areas due to increase in population. See, for example, at least 150 to 100 families only can reside in one particular area. Okay, it should be occupied like that only. It has that much space only. But more than 100, 150, 200 families occupy the same place means what would happen? We don't have enough water, enough food, enough air also. So it will be dumped, right? So this is housing and slums. So it will be very clumsy. Okay, we can't live a some free life, right? Overcrowding leads to unhealthy environment in the urban areas. It is also cause of many diseases, right? When many people reside at the same place, overcrowding, it will lead to many diseases, right? We can't get enough water, as we said earlier. They won't get enough water, place to live. Okay, for if a house is okay for 3 to 4 members, means if we didn't get house, so in one place 8 or 9 members are staying, means it will be like some small den, no? So people can't reside a peaceful life, right? Water supply, drainage and sanitation. No city has round the clock water supply in the world. Drainage situation is equally bad. The removal of garbage in the Himalayan task is a Himalayan task for the urban local bodies. So in our areas also we can see garbage. We have seen, no, wherever we see it is polluted, that much polluted. Drainage system is not cleaned properly, right? Transportation and traffic. Lack of planned and adequate arrangements for traffic and transport is another problem in urban centers. The increasing number of two-wheelers and cars make the traffic problem worse. They cause air pollution as well. So air pollution, traffic problem. See, in traffic itself we can get stuck nearly 1 hour, half an hour, 1.5 hours. See, due to more population, these all happens. Pollution. Towns and cities are the major pollutants of environment. Cities discharge their entire sewage and industrial effluents untreated into the nearby rivers. Industries in and around the urban centers pollute the atmosphere with smoke and gases. So pollution automatically. So many industries are leaving out the waste gases and water, smoke and all. No, so it is polluting the nearby rivers, ponds, everything. So we are not getting clean water, clean air. So everything is polluted. So these are the consequences, problems of urbanization. So in this chapter we have seen different types of migration and various causes of migration and urbanization and problems of the urbanization. I hope you all would have understand this, children. Hope we'll see in the next class. Thank you.